Yo, I'm Brandon, and on this episode of Solutions Over Problems, we're going to talk about our DAB University set build and a couple of the problems that we face, and then what solutions we use to overcome those problems. So the goal for this week was to get the studio set up so we could film the DAB University series. And there, I wanted to make sure that we had a good backdrop and everything. So a few weeks ago, we made a plan to turn our packaging warehouse into the set. And then I was out of town for a couple weeks, and the crew here tried to do a little prep and get it set up for me, so I didn't have so much work to do, which I really appreciate them putting in that effort. But when I came in, it was pretty underwhelming, to be honest. We picked the packaging warehouse because it was open and had a lot of space, and they decided to cram everything in the corner. I mean, we could have shot that here and it would have been, even the same, if not better, but they moved one little desk and had the line of sight very narrow. You couldn't get multiple angles, which we've learned in the past. You really need to have a main camera and then maybe two other cameras, at least one other camera, getting some B-roll. And just the angles on how they had everything set, I just didn't like it. So, I had to call an audible on it, and we were having a little talk about it. I told them I wanted to change it up and move it around. So, so this week the goal was to set up that studio. Came in, had to basically do it all from scratch again. We moved out everything that was against that back wall. That way we kind of had a bigger view area, and then proceeded to go ahead and look at getting some props for the shoot. We were talking about a chalkboard, obviously because it's a studio, a classroom, or maybe a projector where we could actually project the lessons against, but that causes problems with shooting and the lighting and everything. So we came up with getting a chalkboard, looked it up online, found that a big chalkboard was about $500 for a 3x5 or 3x6 chalkboard, which I thought was ridiculous. For a chalkboard, that seems like a lot of money. So just decided to go ahead and build one out myself. I've seen this chalkboard paint in the past for my kids. I thought about putting that up in their rooms, but didn't want all the dust everywhere. It's just like a paint you can buy and put on the walls, and it becomes a chalkboard. So bought some paint, bought some wood, made a little chalkboard on the wall, painted the wall. Now we have a big open classroom settings where we can do actually a proper video shoot in. But the studio build out, I guess, wasn't a huge problem, but it definitely, I think, having the bigger studio is going to make it a lot better outcome for us. Having the props, having more room to walk around, is going to add a lot of texture to the video versus just being in a really narrow shot. So next week we'll probably run into a lot of problems then, so stick around and figure out what solutions we come up with then. Until then.